जिसमें कमीज है तो सारी जिंदगी इसी तरह जब्त करना होगा।
प्यार किया तो डरना क्या जब हिंदुस्तान कोई तुम्हारा दिल नहीं।
जिंदाबाद जिंदाबाद।
तो मेरा दिल भी कोई आपका हिंदुस्तान नहीं।
Purpose of your visit to the United States?
My sister's attending my wedding.
What?
English tuition?
तुम समझते क्या अपने आप को? मैं जानता हूं कि तुम चीट करके पास हुए हो। कैसे मुझे पता नहीं, बट आई विल फाइंड आउट मिस्टर।
तेरे को लगता है अपुन ने चीटिंग किया? अपुन खुल्ला बोलता है किया।
पढ़े लिखे ईमानदार मेहनती जवान को काम नहीं मिल सकता?
क्यों नहीं?
आई बंबई बड़ा शहर, यहाँ सच बोलकर पेट भरने का रास्ता ढूंढने से नहीं मिलता, और झूठ बोलकर पैसे बनाने के रास्ते हैं 420।
Hello and welcome. Okay, I'm Peter Gould. I'm a performer, a professor, a writer, a mime, and a conflict transformer. Also the director of the most watched video ever on BCTV, Playboy of the Western World, viewed more than 47,000 times. But today I'm here as an interviewer, and my guests are Vidhi Sala and John Potter, who are working together to put together a program in October at the Latches Theater called the Bollywood Spotlight Series. So I think you all know John Potter. John is a local master of working together. He's the executive director of the nonprofit Latches Arts and the for-profit Latches Corporation, the two entities which run the historic Latches Theater downtown, and ensure that the Latches, which is a true heirloom treasure of our town, remain a vital part of the community. Before stepping into that job 8 years ago, John, has it really been 8 years?
It's been 8 years.
Oh my God, wow. Time flying. John was a journalist in Vermont for more than 20 years, including a dozen years as the editor of the art section of the Brattleboro Reformer, the founder of the Ovation art section, who wrote so many encouraging articles about my work over the years that I am forever in his debt. When John is away from his big desk, his messy desk, at the Latches, John enjoys singing and hiking. He lives in West B with his wife, 2 daughters, and a lot of pets. Oh. Vidhi Sala, a cultural arts curator, radio show host, journalist from Mumbai, India, now based in Guilford, Vermont. Vidhi, we are so happy that you are based here now. She hosts the absolutely unique radio show, Vidhi's Bollywood Jukebox, on Brattleboro's community radio station, WVEW Low Power, every Thursday from 3 to 5 p.m. I've listened a lot. She's the founder of Mughal-E-Azam, which is a unique idea, a movement, a whole enterprise with which she hosts Indian movie watching experience for international audiences, featuring Indian food and her uniquely wonderful scholarly cultural introduction to each film that she shows. And also handicrafts that you can buy when you come to these showings from exceptional people, craftspeople, artists whom she discovers back in her other homeland. Since the summer of 2021, Vidhi has hosted movie events all over New England. And now this new endeavor, a month-long Bollywood Spotlight series at the Latches Theater, which begins in October. So let's begin by asking her more about it. Vidhi, let's start with you. What exactly is the Bollywood Spotlight series?
So, first of all, thanks to John and the Latches for collaborating with me. The Spotlight series is going to be a month-long showcase of different Bollywood films that I have picked. There will be one film that will be screened twice every week, and each of the films are from a different time period, a different genre, and these films will, of course, the screenings will have my cultural introduction, my handicrafts on display, and with support from the Latches, also Indian snacks of samosas, which will give audiences an authentic movie experience like they are at an Indian movie theater.
Oh, great.
And so the screenings will be scheduled on Thursday evenings, 6:30 p.m. and Sunday afternoons, 4 p.m. and people are welcome to come in early to do some shopping and enjoy watching these unique films that I have curated.
So John, so why don't you tell us a little bit more about the Spotlight series? I know that the context of this is that you've had some other interesting themes in the past.
Yeah.
Chocolate, birds, opera, and now this.
Chocolate, birds, opera, and now this. So Spotlight series is a monthly themed film series that our Latches Arts, some of our Latches Arts board members have put together with other people in the community, both helping to curate the films, and then we try to find a community partner to work with us as well. So for the chocolate-themed films in July, we partnered with Tavernier, and that was great fun, and people got to enjoy some of Tavernier's wonderful, wonderful chocolate, and then watch some films that had some connection to chocolate, you know, the Willy Wonka film like Water for Chocolate, and we even showed Forrest Gump because everything's like a box of chocolate. Life is like a box of chocolates. So this current month, September, we are showcasing films related to birds in this month of migration. And that wraps up with winged migration. But that's been great fun. We partnered with the Southern Vermont Natural History Museum, and they brought in some live birds of prey last weekend, and that's very thrilling to do. In August, the theme was opera, to partner with the Tundi opera people who brought the Wagner in Vermont Festival to the Latches. So we try to be timely or find fun and interesting partners, and VD is just the perfect extra partner for this. So we're very excited about that.
She is, and there was, but I've heard that part of this is that you conducted a survey, right? That the Latches a little while ago did a survey of the people around here to find out if there was any particular sort of film that they wanted to see.
Yeah, back in the darkest days of the pandemic, when we were shut down, and we wanted to stay connected to all of our people, and we also had some questions, some things we wanted to find out. What do they really want from us? And so we sent out an audience survey, and we got about 600 responses, which we were very pleased with. Wow. Again, what else did people have to do then but fill out online surveys? So, one of the things we asked them was to tell us what other kinds of films we'd like to see. And we got many great suggestions. Many of them were very general: old films, first-run films, things that were helpful. But we had a number of people specifically identified Bollywood, and it was their level of enthusiasm. I wrote down what one person said: "Bollywood, please, 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 I love Bollywood," with so many exclamation points after it that I'm sure they had to replace the ink in their printer to finish printing it out. So we heard that loud and clear, the level of enthusiasm and passion for that. 57% of the people who responded in our surveys said they would like more foreign films. And so, but Bollywood gave a specific realm within that. So we heard that loud and clear, and we're finally able to bring that to fruition with VD's help.
Oh, that's wonderful.
VD, you answered that call then. I guess you could tell us a little more about these films which you're showing in the series.
So, I'll start with the first film for the first week, which is called Mughal-E-Azam. It translates as The Great Mughal. It's a film from 1960, and it's a historical fiction based on the life of one of India's biggest emperors, Emperor Akbar, and his son, Prince Salim. So it's based on a little legend about Prince Salim, and the whole film was mounted on such a grand scale that Indian cinema had not seen until that point. I mean, for one, the film took 14 years to make. 14 years is a long time, and the film started before the partition of India and independence of India. So a lot of the artists were relocated to Pakistan, and the film then started production again after partition, after they found new people to do everything else that was left behind. They had so many financial setbacks because the director would not leave a stone unturned to get the film of his visions out there, and so many of the financiers were afraid of being bankrupt. From what I read about trade analysts, the numbers they have put on the actual budget of the film when adjusted for inflation is anywhere between 500 million to 2 billion Indian rupees. This was made at a time when Indian films, so one song sequence in the film is made on a budget more than a whole film that was made at the time. And the film has like 6 to 7 song sequences. So you can imagine how grand it is. The film was made for the big screen. When it finally released in theaters in Mumbai, on the day of the premiere, the reels of the film arrived on a decorated elephant in Mumbai city. And this was the grandeur that the director had envisioned, and he brought it to fruition. And people, of course, have loved the film, have cherished it, and every director in India considers it their Bible. When the film released, people would queue up for the whole day to buy tickets to the film, and it remained like the highest grossing Bollywood film for 15 years. From the date of its release. So this is the film that we will be showing at the Latches, and with John's support, we will have the opening night at the big theater as well as the following show on Sunday. And really the historic big screen at the Latches does justice to the format that this film Mughal-E-Azam was made for. The second film is called English Vinglish, a lot more urban, a lot more recent, from 2012. It's a very light-hearted feminist film about this homemaker who travels to New York for the first time and encounters an English language workshop, or like a crash course, for the first time. And she is a character who represents countless Indians who feel lost in urban India due to their lack of English proficiency. So the film has a very clear message, but does it in a very light-hearted way, which is why I love this film so much. The third film is called Munna Bhai MBBS. It's a 2003 film. A lovely comedy. It's so well written for all its comedic and emotional elements. The film is about a gangster whose father wants him to be a doctor because a lot of Indian parents want their kids to be doctors. It's like the #1 profession. And so he, after a series of some hilarious and some emotional circumstances, enrolls for a medical college. And the film uses Munna's character as an outsider to examine what is wrong with our healthcare industry and how patients are treated without kindness. And the fourth film is Shri 420, translated as Mr. 420, because 420 is the is the Indian Penal Code for fraud.
Oh.
So he's supposed to be Mr. 420, and it's the story of this small town guy who comes to Mumbai in search of better work, but gets sucked into the world of gambling because he has a knack for cards. So, and this is the film. It's a black and white classic, and it was made in 1955 at a time when a lot of Indian films were made with the objective of giving a social message to audiences. So yeah, these are the 4 films that will be showcased on all 4 weeks in October, and I will be present at every screening to give a cultural introduction to the film.
Great. Oh, so which is to say that you will be at the big screening, but also the second screening
all
too.
Of
because there
the
are some of us who different schedules, we might not be able to get to the first one, but we would be able to get to the
I want
follow-up.
people to have the exact same experience that they had at the first screening,
Okay.
and keep it going for the whole month.
John, you and I have talked about this before. I mean, it's an appropriate question for you because you run a movie theater. The idea of movies that we have seen that have changed our lives. For me, and the reason that I'm here today is when I was 20 years old and I saw The World of Apu by Satyajit Ray. That was a life-changing experience for me. An experience of I walked into the theater, I saw this movie, and when I walked out of the theater, I was a different person from the person who walked in. And that leads me to ask, it's sort of a long way of asking, this is not going to be the first time that Indian films have been played at the Latches. For instance, I remember that I've seen Salam Bombay there, and Slumdog Millionaire. Do you have a recollection of other Indian movies that you've shown?
Well, just over a year ago, we partnered with Next Stage up in Putney to show Jalsagar, and that screening opened my eyes a lot about the breadth and depth of what all gets lumped under a Bollywood sort of heading.
Right. It is a big heading.
It is a big heading. It's sort of like saying I'm interested in films from Hollywood.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't,
yeah.
And I think that's one of the gifts of this series is that it's hopefully going to, it's certainly going to open my eyes as to what falls under the title Bollywood and the range and the depth and the breadth. That screening a year ago was where Vidi and I met.
Right. Yeah.
So really, this series had its owes its birth to that screening, and that screening also included some words about the film, primarily about the music in the film, which was a key element. So again, to have a cultural perspective and some framing of the film in addition to the film was tremendously valuable. And from there, it's just been a matter of us finding the time and finding the right films and the slots on our schedule to do that. But so we have shown other films, Bollywood films, and you probably remember more than I do. But this is a concerted effort to really uplift.
Yeah.
One of the things, theaters are changing, and we think our future will include more than just the first-run commercial films. Those are very valuable, very important, very wonderful. Contemporary filmmaking is important for us to continue to support and uplift, but there is a growing conversation among theaters and theater owners and operators of the responsibility theaters have toward cinematic literacy and cinematic awareness. And the pandemic opened our eyes a little bit to that. In the first months after we reopened, there was nothing new for us to show. So we put up on our big screen Casablanca and Jurassic Park and Hard Day's Night and just some really great films that we could choose to show up there. And I think that's part of our mission and responsibility. A lot of the great old films are not available on streaming platforms. So in some senses, I think theaters have the responsibility to make sure that people get a chance to see great films from all styles and genres. And I think this also fits very well into that to help guide people into what how big a world cinema is.
And there is something about film that stays with you. To prepare for being here today, I watched about a half an hour of World of Apu, and exactly the way I felt the first time I saw it, it just returned to me. Such powerful feelings, which really can only come to you in that particular way through the use of film. But there is another art form which I'm interested in. There's a rumor, Vidi, that you're also going to host a dance workshop. How do I sign up for that?
Oh, yeah. So we are still working on the venue and the date for that, but it's definitely happening in the month of October. I want to do like a Bollywood dance introduction to people where I will teach all the participants a few moves that they can groove to when they listen to a Bollywood dance song. And and it's open for all age groups. I would really like people to come together and have a Bollywood grand old dance party.
That sounds really exciting.
Yeah, I think the best way to enroll for that or sign up would be through the Facebook events page or through my website, which is Mughal-E-Azam.com. So all the information will be available through that.
Right.
But yeah, it's really exciting. I hope that people can, and I'm sure. I mean, I haven't seen an area where there are so many people interested in dance than our Windham County, you know, Brattleboro, Putney, all these places. Each time there is a band that people like to dance to, it has the greatest turnout. So
yeah.
I'm really excited to groove with these people and show some Bollywood moves.
Right. So speaking about excitement, John, so is there anything else you want to mention that gets you really excited about this whole initiative?
Well, I'm personally excited to learn more about Bollywood. I think all of us, and certainly I, have a very limited sense of Bollywood. Oh, Bollywood. And I think my eyes, I'm very excited to have my eyes open as wide as they can be about Bollywood films and about the whole possible world of Bollywood films. So I'm personally excited about that. I'm very excited about working with Vidi, who is a dream and just a visionary for this series. And it's been, our whole method and mission at the Latches is to collaborate. We produce some of our own events, but most of what we do in our theater is born of collaboration. So we like to play well with others, so we're very happy to do that. And I'm excited to see audiences and see what their response is. And, all of us, I think, owe many of the things that we like, particularly artistically and culturally, to other people who have guided us into them, whether it's the friend who gives you an album or a CD, so you have to listen to that, or watch this movie, or here's a book that I really liked. And so I think this is, Vidi is our friend to show us this world, and I'm excited to be very influenced and very curious about Bollywood from here on. And we've already mentioned in our conversations as we work together, well, next year we might want to add this. So I think there's very much a sense that this is, to quote another movie, the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Right. And we're going to be doing that. So I'm excited about all of that. And it's just, I think October's a great month to experience color and wonder and great art and move our bodies a little bit to stay warm and to stay excited. So for all these reasons, I'm excited. And to honor the spirit of what the survey told us as well, that people want to see this. So.
What about you, Vidi? What gets you most excited about this whole idea?
Yeah, a lot of the common things that John mentioned. I'm really curious about people's reactions to the film. I have been doing movie events in the area, and I have had interactions. Some people have traveled as far away from Brooklyn, New York, to just come and watch a Bollywood film here on the big screen. So that is that is indicative of the direction in which I'm going. Is I want to I want people to come out and watch and experience a film together, because we haven't done that in a long time, especially after all the streaming platforms have been in the picture. This collective movie watching experience is not something we've had. And as John mentioned, so many films are not available for streaming, and so many films do not, your little computer screen doesn't do justice to the vision that the director had while making the film. And so all of these factors are what we have consumed films so far as a commodity and as a very recent thing. Like a latest Marvel movie has released now this week, you must watch it now, and this is the time to watch it. But what about the films that became cult classics and people, saw the popularity or the essence of the film, and after they had seen it a bunch of times, after that, you don't get to see these films in theaters. So this, the element of curation, I feel, is not there in cinema as much as it is there in other art forms. And that is something I am attempting to do with this event and many more to come in the future. Like even in Bollywood films, the language is different, but there are English subtitles, of course, for people to understand. But in a film like Mughal-E-Azam, it's about 16th century India. You don't know anything about this emperor, but people will be able to relate to the controlling parent character or the element of royal families and how they are so stoic and they won't marry outside of the royal lineage. So these are universal elements that people will be able to grasp, even in a language that is not their own. And these are some of the things that are exciting to me about this Latches event, and I'm really I hope that people come out to watch every single film, because no one film is completely indicative of Bollywood. The classics have been made in the past, but there are also contemporary films made on a lower budget when in the 2010s decade, for example, when content was given more importance than the visual of a film. So all of these factors I have taken into consideration while curating these films. And in fact, for the opening night for Mughal-E-Azam, if people want to dress up and come out to the film, it will be an experience to remember for them.
Great. So, Vidisala, John Potter, it's been a privilege to talk with you both. Is there any final thought that you'd like to leave with our viewers today before we sign off?
I'd just like to mention that we're offering these films by donation, so that price will not be a barrier. So please come. We just want you to.
That's wonderful.
Come. Yeah.
Yeah. That's wonderful. We actually found at the youth theater that when we sold our refreshments that way by donation, we made more money. Because that does inspire people to be generous.
People who can, will, and everyone can feel welcome.
They might donate an amount on the way in, and then being so satisfied with what they've seen, they might put some more in on the way out.
I think it's such a great initiative. I heard recently that the Latches in this area has been a theater that has always curated films that are outside of the commercial realm, and it's the perfect partnership for me to take forward an endeavor that I started last summer.
Yeah,
I'm really looking forward to have people come and see this.
Right,
films.
and it should also be said that if you're seeing this on TV and you don't often go out to the Latches, it's just an experience to walk into that place. As I said earlier, it's an heirloom. It's a treasure for our town. It's such a beautiful theater, and I know that part of the work that John has been doing at the Latches is to work with people, with designers, to bring all the incredible sculptures and paintings and friezes and lighting effects, some of which we will hear about over the next couple of years, which will blow your mind. You should come out for the collective movie viewing experience, yes, and also for the experience of being in this wonderful place. Thank you all out there in BCTV land for tuning in. Okay, I'm Peter Gould for The Latches, for BCTV, and for VD's Bollywood Spotlight series starting at the Latches Theater in early October.